Welcome to 21st Sports Recap and Reaction for the New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles in their Week 6 matchup played October 19, 2015. We're going to go over all the scores and the stats and give our breakdown and analysis. So this division rivalry game as they're battling it out for first place in the NFC East. And to start this game off, a little less than 5 minutes in, Eli Manning hit ODB, Odell Beckham Jr. for a 13-yard touchdown pass. Brown added the extra point, and it was 7-0 New York over Philadelphia. Little did the Giants know that would be the last time they would score in this game, as the Eagles would go on to score 27 unanswered points. Starting off with about 3.5 minutes left in the first, Sam Bradford hit Riley Cooper for a 32-yard touchdown. Sturgis added the extra point, and this game was tied at 7. So that was the score after 1. Then in the second quarter, about 2.5 minutes in, Nolan Carroll intercepted Eli, and he ran it back 17 yards for the pick 6. Sturgis added the extra point, and now the Eagles were ahead 14-7. And that earlier touchdown, the first touchdown, was actually set up by an interception by Ryans. So 2 turnovers turned into 14 points for Philadelphia as they were now in the lead. And then with just 3 seconds left before halftime, Caleb Sturgis added a 37-yard field goal. And it was now a 10-point lead for the Eagles, 17-7 going into halftime. So in the third quarter, DeMarco Murray would run for a touchdown, a 12-yard touchdown run. Sturgis added the extra point, and it was 24-7 with about 6 minutes still left in the third as the Eagles extended their lead to 17. Then in the fourth quarter, with about 8 minutes left in the game, Caleb Sturgis hit a 39-yard field goal, and that would put the Eagles up by 20 with the score 27-7. So the Eagles win this one pretty handily, and they are now tied with the Giants in first place in the NFC East, 3-3 for both of these teams on the year. The Giants are 1-2 on the road, the Eagles 2-1 at home. And of course, the Eagles getting the victory over the Giants, so they would have a tiebreaker, but they're going to have to play in New York. But this one, the first matchup, the Eagles get the win at home. A big win for the Eagles as they had been struggling so far in 2015, but now they're evened up at 500, and the East is anyone's division. It's wide open. A lot of turnovers in this game. These two teams combined for 7 turnovers. Eli Manning with 2 interceptions. Sam Bradford had 3 interceptions. Of course, Matthews lost a fumble for the Eagles, and then Jennings lost a fumble as well. In this game, Sam Bradford, 24 for 38, 280 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Eli Manning, 24 for 38 as well, but for 189 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. So he had almost 100 less yards, 91 less yards with the same amount of completions. Of course, Bradford threw 1 more interception. Eli did have 12 yards on the ground off of 1 rushing attempt. Bradford ran it 4 times for 2 yards. Although not necessarily by design. DeMarco Murray had a big game, 22 carries for 109 yards and a touchdown as he reaches the century mark in this one. Also 3 receptions for 14 yards as he had 123 total yards in the game, rather. Riley Cooper, 3 receptions for 76 yards and a touchdown. Miles Austin, 3 receptions for 60 yards. Jordan Matthews, 6 receptions for 59 yards. Zach Ertz, 4 receptions for 43 yards. And for the Giants, Rashad Jennings, 13 carries for 63 yards. He also had 3 receptions for 20 yards, giving him 83 total yards. He did have a fumble in the game. And Odell Beckham Jr., 7 receptions for 61 yards and a touchdown. Ruben Randall, 5 receptions for 44 yards. Larry Donald, 3 receptions for 29 yards. So we had 3 fumbles by the Eagles, 2 fumbles by the Giants. Although each team only lost 1 of the fumbles. We look at the kickers. Caleb Sturgis was perfect, as was John Brown, of course, he only attempted the one extra point, but Sturgis, 2 field goals, 2 for 2, 3 extra points, 3 for 3. And on defense, Hicks had 10 tackles to lead the game for the Eagles. Also Carroll with the interception, Ryans with an interception as well. Fletcher Cox had another sack, as he's been a sack machine the last couple games. McGraham a half a sack, and Curry 1.5 sacks. And for the Giants, Merriweather, Collins, and Hosley each had interceptions, respectively, and Moore had a sack. Then we look at first downs, 24 for the Eagles, 18 for the Giants. The big difference being on the ground is DeMarco Murray was running strong, and they had 10 first downs on the ground for the Eagles, just 3 first downs on the ground for the Giants. We look at third downs. The Eagles were 6 of 16, 37%. The Giants just 4 of 13, 30%. They went for it once on fourth down. They did not convert. Total net yards, almost 200 more for the Eagles, as they had 425 net yards, 247 for the Giants. On the ground, 155 for Philadelphia, 81 for New York, almost twice as many. Net passing yards, 270 for the Eagles, as Bradford sacked once for a loss of 10 yards. And for the Giants, 166. Eli was sacked 3 times for a loss of 23 total yards. And the penalties, these two teams had a lot of penalties in this game, especially Giants. That's really what hurt them the most. 12 penalties, 92 penalty yards for the G-men. And for the Eagles, 9 penalties for 72 yards. So these two teams combined for 21 penalties in this game. Then we look at the red zone. While the Giants did, they were 1 for 1, but they only reached the end, the red zone once. That one touchdown early in the game there by ODB. And then for the Eagles, 1 for 2, 50% in the red zone. And the time of possession, 30 minutes, 30 seconds for Philadelphia, 29 minutes, 30 seconds for the Giants. That's the thing, is neither team really got into the red zone in this game. There's a lot of mistakes, but in the end, the Eagles were able to get into the end zone. They were able to score. They were able to capitalize on the turnovers. That was something the Giants were not able to do, as they started off the game and they scored early. And then although they picked off Sam Bradford 3 times, neither of those times did they end up putting up even 3 points on the board. And when you get 3 interceptions plus a fumble, if you can force 4 turnovers, but you don't turn those 4 turnovers to even 1 point, even though not like you're going to have 1 point, but not even 2 points, not even a safety, not even a 3-point field goal, well, you're not going to win if you can't turn turnovers into points. And the Eagles, their first 2 touchdowns came off of turnovers, as the interception by Ryans that they would end up turning into 7 points, and then with the pick 6, as the defense would actually score. And so that made it 14-7 at that point. And the Eagles defense, you gotta give them credit. They shut down Eli Manning. They were, in his face, keeping him under pressure. They had the 3 sacks in the game. They forced 2 interceptions by him and a fumble by Jennings. And so they were able to capitalize on their turnovers that they forced. And they were able to shut out the Giants through the final 3 quarters of this game, just allowing that 1 touchdown in the first quarter, the first touchdown of the game. And from then on out, the Eagles just would not, let up any points, as they scored 27 unanswered to win by 20. So a really impressive performance, I thought, by Philadelphia, despite all the mistakes that they were making. And both teams making a lot of mistakes. Both teams playing kind of sloppy, as they saw those penalties. As they said, both teams, with the turnovers and all those penalties, there's just so many penalties on both sides of the ball. And you know that Coughlin's going to be pretty upset about that one come Tuesday, and Wednesday really is when they're going to have to deal with that. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening. It's greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and had a great weekend, and have a great week, and enjoy all the sports.